Hey guys, before we get into the video, I want to talk about an app I downloaded just before this trip. It's called adventuresmart.ca. It allows you to create a trip plan so that you can notify emergency contacts of when, where, what equipment you have, and when you're going to return to them in both an email form and text message. I also let it go, I extended it and let it go beyond the timeline that I was out. Even though I knew I was out, I'd already texted my wife that I was safe. However, I let it extend past the time I said I would be finished by, and then she got a subsequent text message and email alert saying that I was overdue. So it's very handy. I don't have a GPS transceiver emergency SOS button device yet, so this is a good alternative, but it's also would be good for those people who do have it as a secondary means of alerting people. Anyway, check it out. Again, it's adventuresmart.ca. Well, good morning guys. I'm just outside Queen Elizabeth Wildlands Park, Provincial Park, which is a roughly 33,000 hectare unmaintained provincial park. I'm going to take one of the side trails down to Scrabble Lake for the night. I'm not sure where I'm going to stay yet. There's a couple sites I can get to. It's kind of cool. It is November, so it's supposed to be somewhat cold, just above freezing tonight, with possibility of rain and maybe even snow tomorrow morning. But this is just a quick overnighter. I'm just going to do the full loop and come back tomorrow. While it is an unmaintained park, it does look like somebody has been at least making an attempt at some trail maintenance, adding some planks and that over wet areas. It is technically unmaintained, but it has become more and more popular of late, and they do have established trails, so everything is well marked. There are blue marks every couple of trees, it seems, in this area to be able to find the trail, so it is well marked out, at least this section. I have heard other sections aren't as great. This trail isn't on the Ganaraska Trail, but it meets up with the Ganaraska Trail, which is a hiking trail that goes from just east of Port Hope on Lake Ontario and goes up towards Aurelia, and there are sections that go off to Wasaga Beach on Lake Huron. Came across this guy right on the trail. Primarily in this forest so far in the hike, it seems to be a mix of some white pine, which you'll see a bit around behind me, but primarily red oak. You can tell it's red oak because the leaves are spiky. White oak has more rounded lobes. Over the areas where you can't really see the trail or markers on the trees, the blue blazes, people have been putting cairns. I've seen a few of them so far on some of the wide open rocky areas, so at least you know that's the way the trail goes. There are also spots painted on the rocks to indicate the direction of travel. Very late season dragonfly. Must be here because it's probably just come out because of the nice warm sun on the rocks. So in behind me is a rock that's just sort of sitting out on its own. Pretty sure it's what would be called an erratic, which would have been dropped by the glaciers when they retreated 12,000 years ago. So there's an old cable bolt here. Used to go up to probably these two posts here. I'm not sure if this was an old hydro line, telegraph line, something man-made though, but those are definitely placed here, and this cable would have been some sort of a support for the poles. I'm at the first trail, side trail that goes off to a campsite. So there are some marked campsites in the park. Like I said, it is becoming more popular, and I think they are doing more and more to make it a usable park. So we'll go check out that campsite, and we'll check out a couple others on the way. nice little site, actually. Nice little private lake to yourself. There's no other sites here. So I've reached the next junction. I'm now on the main Ganaraska Trail. So it goes from the blue blazes that you see there to white blazes here. I'm actually heading down in this direction over Black Creek. So it definitely is was an old hydro line, because these would be the insulators for the cables. There's a date on it, or marker on it, but I can't tell if there's a date. It actually says 84. So I don't know if that's a year or what have you. Alright guys, I have a decision to make. On the map, if I'm reading correctly, which I think I am, this actually is a portage that goes from a small little pond behind the camera down to Scrabble Lake, and there is a campsite that's out on a point. So if I followed this trail down, I could probably get to that campsite with a little bit of bushwhacking, and originally that's what I was thinking of doing. I think I'm not going to do that. It's not that windy right at the moment, but the wind has been coming off this direction, so it would, and from what I could see on Google Earth where the site is, it's wide open. There's not a lot of tree cover. So A, there would be not that much for firewood. B, not much cover for rain or a place to hang a tarp. So I think I'm going to continue on, probably another kilometer or so, get up to the top of Scrabble Mountain, which will be better to see that in today while the sky is clear, because I know it's supposed to cloud over and rain tomorrow. And then below that, down to Scrabble Lake, there are a couple of campsites, so I'll probably set up camp over that location instead of here. From what I recall from the Google Earth, those had more cover. So this is the top of Scrabble Mountain. There isn't a lot to see from the top here because most of the trees are in the way. But there is this memorial to Aldine LaCroix. He was a local who, according to some of the things that I was able to find on the Ganaraska Trail website, he was sort of the jack of all trades and operated a local hunt camp. And the story is, there's only one that I see here, if you leave a coin, it means you'll come back someday. So I'm going to leave a coin here, and if I never come back, does that mean I live forever? I'm going to go with it. So on the back of the memorial there is another dedication to his grandson. So the trail down to the campsites isn't very well defined, but there is flagging tape. So you can see it on that one tree. There's another piece right here. And then I gotta go down through this ravine, and there's another one on the other side that I can just see by that big pine tree over there. Alright guys, found my home for the night. Like I said a minute ago, the trail down was not that well defined. At least there was a fair amount of flagging tape to it, so it wasn't too bad, but it wouldn't be easy in the dark, that's for sure. There's no real defined trail. There is, however, there is a thunderbox at this site. I saw it coming in, so that's a bonus here. Most sites probably don't have them, only a few do, but this one does, so good to go. Key thing you want to do when you get to a site, especially in shoulder seasons like this, is set up your sleeping bag and make sure it has a chance to loft up. So if you do it right before going to bed, it won't have as much insulation ready for you. Off to get firewood now. I did not bring my stove on this trip, so we'll be cooking over the fire tonight. Just gotta go put something in the fridge. So I recently bought myself a new fire striker. Normally I would just use a lighter, but for this trip I'm going to try my new striker. I'm just doing some prep on the birch bark set, so it will catch a spark much easier. So because it's supposed to rain tonight and into tomorrow morning, what I've done is I've used my bag for my chair, and I got some kindling ready for the morning. So for dinner I got dehydrated pasta in a sauce I had for a while now from earlier this year. I have some dehydrated chicken. I'm going to put them in this pot along with that, and I'm going to use my water pump to hydrate it because I'm not going to start the fire now, and I'm just going to heat it up when it is time for dinner. So in the last 5 minutes, not even, maybe 3 minutes, the wind suddenly just really ripped in. It was calm before, and now it's starting to rain a little bit. So hoping it's just going to pass quickly, and that's that, but I don't know. I'm hoping, I can sort of see the sun peeking through. I'm hoping this will pass soon. Otherwise it'll be a pretty crappy night. But I knew it was going to rain. I thought it was going to hold off until later into the evening, which is what the weather report initially said. Well, hopefully this is a good sign that it was just a quick shower. We'll see. Well, if that's the only rain we get overnight, that would be great. It's completely cleared up now. So I would say that was successful, obviously. I got this at the Canadian Outdoor Equipment shop in Mississauga. I'm having a Hop City Brewing north of 41. Not sure where it's made. Brampton. Okay. So. Cheers. So about a minute ago there was some coyotes howling south of here. I'll try and, if they howl again, I'll try to get it on tape. So hopefully you heard that. The wolves or coyotes howling. They went on for about 30 seconds or so. So one of the best investments I ever made for camping from Mech were these booties. They're great to wear after a long day of hiking. They're somewhat waterproof. It's like little sleeping bags for your feet. They're great. Hey guys, it's about 7 p.m. Just gonna hang out in my tent and read for the rest of the evening. So did about 9 kilometers hike in. It's about 9 or 10 to get out tomorrow. So we'll see you tomorrow. Alright guys, I'm just about to head out. It's 8 o'clock now. I'm going to head out and got probably about 3 hours of hiking back. I'm going to keep going around the loop. I'm not going back the same way I came in. There is a full loop. I did leave a good stash of firewood for the next people who camp here. I don't think it'll get used this year. I could be wrong, but it is mid-November right now, so not a lot of people are camping this time of year. Anyway, see you on the trail. That's a hell of a way to start the morning. It's roughly a 172 meter climb from the camp up to Scrabble Mountain in the first 10 minutes of hiking. All in all, good start. whole bunch of coyote poop right here. It's full of fur. That's how I can tell it's not dog or anything. One thing I have seen on this trail is hundreds of chipmunks. Mainly because of the oak forest, there's lots of nuts for them to eat. So that would probably be the primary food source for the coyotes. So my understanding, when they first blazed the Ganaraska Trail, which is what I'm on now, that they originally did it in winter with snow machines. One thing I have noticed though in the last little while, at least since we got on the main trail, is that there's lots of sections of ATV, like four-wheeler tracks, you can tell because of the divots on the side. So I don't know if that was before they made the trail, when there was maybe hunting camps in this area before it became a park, or if they followed up the blazing and ran four-wheelers through here to clear the trail. So yesterday I mentioned how this is mainly a red oak forest. So as I said, the red oaks have the pointed leaves. I did find a couple white oak leaves near my campsite that I picked up. And you can see these are more rounded, the lobes on the each end. So that's the difference between red and white oak. Unfortunately, I don't know how to tell the difference with their bark yet. Something I gotta learn. But that's at least a good indicator of which is which. So white is round, red is spiky. Quite a few signs of beaver in the area. It's a good area for them, low shallow ponds, but obviously he's trying to get this tree. Bit of a snack, wintergreen berries. So ever since that bridge that I crossed, the trail has been wide open like this, flat. So I'm making great time. To that bridge is about 3 kilometers from from my campsite, and that took me an hour. This is going to take me 40 minutes to do the next 3. Some deer tracks. Don't know how old though. So I've joined up with a portage that goes from Sheldon Lake into Cooney Lake. So the trail follows it for a little while before it veers off again. So I made it to Petticoat Junction. I now head off that way towards Car, which is about 6k away. Maybe a little longer. I might do the fire tower loop that's right there at the parking lot to see if there's anything left over from the fire tower that's up on the hill. So down on the point behind me here is the campsite on Sheldon Lake. Last weekend, the guys from a podcast I listened to, Paddling Adventure Radio, had their 300th episode, and they recorded it, I believe, at this campsite. Based on some of the pictures I saw on their Instagram and Facebook, because it is a point and it looked like it might be it. But either way, they were on this lake and they recorded their 300th episode here. So highly recommend it. I'll put the link in the description below. If you're into canoeing and paddling,
not just canoeing, but rafting, stand-up paddleboard, what have you. Anything to do with paddling, these guys do a great job. So I'm having to take a bit of a breather. The trail that runs along the top end of Sheldon Lake is a lot rougher going than what I was hiking before, and that's due to the topography. When the glaciers retreated, they retreated north in this direction, so they scraped everything that way as they retreated. So all along here it's all very steep up and down little ravines over and over again, so it's very tiring with the pack especially, to keep going up and down these little ravines. So it's probably going to take me a little longer to get out, but the nice thing is the sun's come out. Considering it was supposed to be rain and snow today, I'll take it. Along the sections of the trail there are veins of quartz that peek out of the rocks every now and then, like this one here. So what I mentioned about up and down in this section, so we just came up over another hill, so we're going to go down and then up behind that birch tree and off to the right. I'm not going to film it, I don't want to come back for it again. This beaver pond is almost all dried up now, which means the dam that was holding it back must have given away. It's possible that because it hasn't been fixed that the beavers were killed off by coyotes or what have you, so there's no one there to repair it. So I only have about 600 meters left to get out to the parking lot if I continue this way, but behind the camera there's another loop that goes up to where an old fire tower is located. So I'm gonna go check that out. It adds probably another kilometer and a bit to the whole hike, but that's all right. It's early in the day, it's not even noon. I got time, so I'm gonna check it out. Probably nothing there other than maybe some of the foundation for the legs of the tower, but we'll go up and see. So more remnants of the old hydro line. You can see the post here, but if you actually look the tree line on the other side of the pond, you can actually see where the lines would have been, and it's all new growth that's not nearly the same height as any of the rest of it in the area. So made it to the top where the fire tower is, or what's the remaining of it, which is the foundations as expected. The four outside ones would be the main supports, and I assume this would be where the ladder would go up, and I think it would be 60 to 100 feet up to the top where the hut was on top of it. So guys would spend their time, days there in the summer, looking for fires, looking for smoke, until the advent of planes and radios, and then it became redundant to have them. So the trail is actually only meant to be walked in the opposite direction of where I'm walking. I've noticed that there's no blazes in the direction I'm going back to the parking lot, but rather in the other direction. So of course I didn't see the sign until after. So the height was 85 feet, and they could spot smoke up to 15 miles away. Alright guys, that calls it a quits for this trip. If you like the video, please hit the thumbs up button. It'll help in the ratings and get me higher, and more people will see it. If you do like the channel, please subscribe and hit the bell. Hope you enjoyed this trip as much as I did. We'll see you out there next time.